You are here because something within you already knows the truth, that you are the operant power. In this lecture, we will not chase riches. We will become the consciousness of wealth itself. Assume the feeling of being wealthy. Now, do not wait for the money to come. Live in the end. Wealth is a state of consciousness. Enter it, embody it, and the world will rearrange itself to reflect your assumption. If you're seeing this, it's not by chance. The universe has conspired to bring this message to you at precisely this moment when you are most ready to receive it. There are no accidents in this intelligent universe. We inhabit only the perfect unfolding of divine timing. Pause and consider this truth for a moment. Your eyes are upon these words, because something within you, a deeper wisdom, recognizes that you stand at the threshold of transformation. That restlessness you've been feeling, that knowing that there must be more to life than the limited experience you've accepted until now, this is your inner being calling you toward your true potential. You are about to discover the most profound secret about wealth and abundance that has ever been revealed. A secret hidden in plain sight throughout the ages, whispered by the greatest minds and mystics of history, yet overlooked by the masses who continue to struggle in limitation and lack. This secret is not about investment strategies or business tactics, though these have their place. It is about something far more fundamental, the very nature of reality itself and your divine role as its creator. Yes, creator. Not merely a participant in life, but the very author of your experience. What if I told you that the wealth you seek already exists in completed form? That the abundance you desire is not something to be achieved or attained, but rather something to be claimed through the most powerful force in the universe, your own consciousness. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself already in possession of the wealth you desire. Feel the absolute freedom of financial abundance flowing through every aspect of your life. See yourself moving through the world with the quiet confidence that comes from true prosperity. Experience the joy of generosity as you share your abundance with others. Feel the profound peace of knowing that all your needs and the needs of those you love are met with ease and grace. This feeling, this state of consciousness, is the key to your unstoppable wealth. According to Neville Goddard, one of the greatest spiritual teachers of the 20th century, consciousness is the only reality. Everything that exists in your outer world began first as a state of consciousness. Your current financial situation, whether one of lack or abundance, is nothing more than the perfect outer reflection of your inner assumptions about yourself and about wealth. The world you see is showing you what you have been believing about yourself and about life. This may be challenging to accept if you're currently experiencing financial limitation. You might be thinking, but I've always wanted to be wealthy. I wouldn't choose this struggle. Unconsciously, that may be true, but Neville teaches us that it is our deeply held assumptions, often operating below the level of conscious awareness, that shape our reality. Your thoughts are not merely passive observations about reality. They are the very substance from which reality is formed. Every thought you think, every assumption you accept is true. Every feeling you cultivate becomes a blueprint for your future experience. When you truly understand this principle, everything changes. The path to unstoppable wealth becomes clear. It is not about working harder in the outer world, though inspired action has its place. It is about changing your consciousness, your inner world, so completely that the outer world must reshape itself to match your new self-concept. Let me share something profound with you. Throughout history, those who have amassed great wealth have understood this principle, whether consciously or intuitively. They didn't become wealthy and then feel wealthy. They embodied the consciousness of wealth first, and then the outer circumstances rearrange themselves to match this inner state. As Neville would say, you must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You must live from the end, experiencing now the very feelings you would have if your desire were already accomplished. This is not positive thinking or wishful dreaming. This is the deliberate and conscious embodiment of a new state of being. This is you stepping into your power as the operant power in your world. The great news is that this power exists within you right now. You don't need to develop it or earn it or become worthy of it. It is your divine inheritance, the gift given to you by virtue of your existence. Throughout this journey together, I will guide you through Neville's teachings and show you exactly how to apply them to create unstoppable wealth in your life. You will learn how to use your imagination, the divine creative faculty within you, to impress upon your subconscious mind the exact feeling and conviction of already being the wealthy person you desire to be. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if money were no longer a concern. If financial abundance flowed to you effortlessly and continuously. If you were free to live, give, create, and experience life without the constraints of limited resources. This is not a fantasy. This is your birthright. You are not born to struggle or to merely survive. You are born to thrive, to express the full magnificence of who you are. Abundance is not something outside of you that you must chase or compete for. Abundance is the very nature of the universe we inhabit. Look at nature. Do you see scarcity there? Or do you see the lavish abundance of a single seed multiplying into countless expressions of itself? The same principle operates in your life, but you must align your consciousness with it. You must become in consciousness the wealthy individual you desire to be. And as you do, the outer world, which is nothing more than a shadow of your consciousness, will reorganize itself to reflect your new state of being. Now, you might be wondering how exactly to do this. How do you shift your consciousness from limitation to abundance? How do you embody the feeling of wealth when your current circumstances show you something very different? This is where Neville's practical teachings become invaluable. Unlike many spiritual teachers who spoke in vague generalities, Neville gave specific techniques for impressing new states of consciousness upon your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, once it accepts a new concept as true, works day and night to bring it into physical manifestation. Over the next 2 parts of our journey together, I'll guide you through these techniques in detail. You'll learn exactly how to use the law of assumption, the power of revision, state akin to sleep, and Neville's revolutionary method of prayer to transform your financial reality from the inside out. But before we dive into those techniques, I want to share a personal story that illustrates just how powerful these principles are when applied with understanding and conviction. Several years ago, I found myself in a financial situation that seemed hopeless by conventional standards. Debt had accumulated beyond what seemed manageable. Opportunities had dried up. The economy was in recession, and conventional wisdom said to hunker down and weather the storm. But something within me refused to accept that this was my destiny. Through a series of synchronicities, divine appointments, much like the one that brought you to this message, I discovered Neville Goddard's teachings. At first, they seemed too simple to be true. How could something as intangible as my imagination actually change my external financial reality? But I was desperate enough to try anything, so I began to apply his techniques with diligence and faith. Each night, before sleep, I would close my eyes and construct an imaginal scene that implied my financial freedom. I would feel the relief, the joy, the absolute knowing that abundance was now my reality. I would engage all my senses in this imaginal act, hearing the congratulations of friends, feeling the texture of the check in my hands, seeing the numbers in my bank account that represented abundance. And most importantly, I would feel the gratitude, the overwhelming appreciation for this new state of being, as if it were already accomplished. During the day, whenever doubts would arise or when circumstances seemed to contradict my inner knowing, I would pause, close my eyes, and return briefly to that inner scene. I would remind myself consciousness is the only reality. What I am experiencing externally is just a shadow of past states of consciousness. My current inner state is creating my future. The external changes didn't happen overnight. But gradually, almost imperceptibly at first, things began to shift. New opportunities presented themselves. Creative ideas for generating wealth came to me in dreams and moments of inspiration. People who could assist in my financial transformation seemed to appear precisely when needed. Within 6 months, my financial situation had completely transformed. The debts that had seemed so insurmountable were resolved in ways I could never have orchestrated through logical planning. Income was flowing from multiple sources, many of which I couldn't have predicted. And most importantly, my relationship with wealth itself had fundamentally changed. I no longer saw wealth as something outside myself that I needed to struggle for or chase after. I recognized it as the natural expression of my inner state. This shift in consciousness is what has allowed abundance to flow continuously in my life ever since. Now I want to be clear about something. This is not about using spiritual principles to manipulate reality for selfish gains. The kind of wealth we are talking about here is not just about accumulating money or possession. It's about stepping into the fullness of who you really are and allowing the abundance that is your birthright to flow through you, blessing not only your life but the lives of countless others. This is about freedom, the freedom to create, to give, to express the divine potential within you, without the limitations imposed by financial scarcity. This is about becoming an open channel through which the unlimited abundance of the universe can flow into this world. As we move into the second part of our journey together, we'll explore exactly how to use Neville's specific techniques to impress the state of wealth upon your subconscious mind. You'll learn how to create and sustain the feeling of wealth until it becomes your predominant state of consciousness. And as your consciousness shifts, you'll witness the miraculous rearrangement of your outer world to match this new inner reality. The path to unstoppable wealth has nothing to do with luck, background, education, or even talent in the conventional sense. It has everything to do with understanding and applying the immutable law of consciousness that Neville Goddard revealed so clearly. Are you ready to step into this new understanding? Are you willing to take responsibility for your consciousness as the one and only creative power in your life? If so, then turn your attention to part 2, where your practical transformation begins. Let me tell you about Sarah, a woman whose story might feel remarkably similar to your own. 5 years ago, Sarah was drowning in debt. 2 failed business ventures had left her with creditors calling daily. She worked 60 hours a week at a job she despised, watching the clock tick by as her spirit withered. Each month, after paying the minimum on her credit cards and loans, she barely had enough to cover rent and groceries. The weight of financial pressure affected every aspect of her life: her health, her relationships, her self-worth. Something has to change, she would tell herself, but what can I possibly do? She had tried everything the conventional world recommended: budgeting more strictly, working longer hours, cutting out every small pleasure. She had attended financial seminars and read countless books on wealth creation. Yet abundance remained elusive, always just beyond her reach. Then one rainy Tuesday evening, exhausted after another demanding day, Sarah found herself in a small used bookstore that she had never noticed before, despite passing that street almost daily. As she browsed the shelves, seeking temporary escape from her troubles, a slim volume caught her eye. It seemed to almost glow among the dusty tomes surrounding it. The title read The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. She purchased the book with the last few dollars in her wallet and took it home. That night she read it cover to cover, unable to put it down. Something about Neville's words resonated with a truth she had always sensed, but never fully understood. For the first time, she encountered the radical idea that her outer world was merely a reflection of her inner states of consciousness, that what she experienced as reality was actually the projection of her assumptions and beliefs. The concept both frightened and liberated her. If true, it meant that she had unknowingly created her financial struggles through her consciousness. But it also meant that she had the power to create something entirely different. The pivotal moment came when Sarah read Neville's words. You must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Something clicked deep within her. She realized that all her previous attempts at creating wealth had been focused on working harder in a reality she accepted as fixed and unyielding. Never had she considered that reality itself was fluid, responsive to her consciousness. That night, before falling asleep, Sarah did something that would change the course of her life forever. Following Neville's technique, she closed her eyes and constructed an imaginal scene that implied her financial freedom was already accomplished. She imagined sitting at her kitchen table, opening her laptop to check her bank account, and seeing a balance of over $100,000. She felt the smooth surface of the table beneath her fingertips. She heard the gentle hum of the refrigerator in the background. She felt the emotion that would accompany such a discovery, the relief, the joy, the profound sense of security and freedom. Most importantly, she felt the naturalness of it, not as something miraculous or extraordinary, but as the simple, expected state of her affairs. She fell asleep in this state of consciousness, feeling as though her financial freedom was not a distant goal, but a present reality. The next morning, nothing in her external circumstances had changed. The bills still waited to be paid. The job still required her presence. But something within Sarah had shifted fundamentally. She carried the feeling of that imaginal scene with her throughout the day, returning to it whenever doubt or fear threatened to overtake her. For the next 30 days, Sarah practiced this technique faithfully. Each night before sleep, she would enter her imaginal scene and feel its reality with all her senses. During the day, she began to notice subtle shifts in her perception. Financial conversations that once triggered anxiety now felt neutral or even pleasant. When she would catch herself in old patterns of lack-based thinking, she would gently redirect her attention to the feeling of her wish fulfilled. Small changes began to appear in her external world. A client at work mentioned a side project and asked if Sarah would be interested in consulting for additional income. An unexpected tax refund arrived. A friend offered her an opportunity to sublet a more affordable apartment. Sarah recognized these as the initial stirrings of her new state of consciousness, expressing itself in her reality. Rather than seeing them as coincidences, she understood them as confirmation that her inner work was bearing fruit. This understanding only deepened her commitment to maintaining the feeling of financial abundance, regardless of temporary appearances. 3 months into this practice, Sarah was offered a new position at a different company, one that aligned perfectly with her skills and paid nearly twice her current salary. 6 months in, she had cleared half of her debt through a combination of increased income and unexpected opportunities to settle accounts for reduced amounts. 9 months in, she had launched a small side business based on a passion she had previously dismissed as impractical. By the end of that first year, Sarah's financial situation had transformed beyond what she would have believed possible. Not only had she eliminated her debt entirely, but she had accumulated savings and investments. Money was flowing to her through multiple channels, many of which she couldn't have strategically planned or even imagined. But the most profound change was in Sarah's relationship with wealth itself. She no longer saw abundance as something to be chased or struggled for. She recognized it as her natural state, the outer expression of her inner consciousness of wealth. She understood that the power had been within her all along, waiting only for her to claim it through the conscious direction of her imagination and assumptions. Sarah's story is not unique. It illustrates a pattern I've witnessed countless times as people apply Neville Goddard's teachings to transform their financial reality. The specific details vary, but the underlying principle remains constant. When you change your consciousness, your world changes to reflect it. Now let me share with you the actionable insights that will allow you to create this same transformation in your life. If you're seeing this, it's because you're ready to understand the first principle of unstoppable wealth. The state of consciousness you occupy is the determining factor in your financial experience. This truth revolutionizes everything you've been taught about wealth creation. Most approaches focus on manipulating external conditions, working harder, investing more wisely, exploiting market opportunities. While these actions have their place, they are secondary to the inner work of consciousness. Think of your consciousness as the projector and the world as the screen. No amount of manipulating the screen will change the image being projected. You must change the film in the projector itself. Your assumptions about wealth, your beliefs about what is possible for you, your emotional relationship with money, these form the film that projects your financial reality. To implement this principle, begin by becoming aware of your current assumptions about wealth. What do you really believe about money and your relationship to it? Be ruthlessly honest. Then consciously choose new assumptions that align with the wealth you desire to experience. Feel the relief, freedom, and naturalness of these new assumptions until they become your dominant state. As you embody this new state of consciousness, opportunities for wealth creation will naturally present themselves, often in ways your logical mind could never have planned. If you're seeing this, it's because you're ready to master the second principle. Your imagination is not fantasy, it is the creative power of God, expressing itself through you. We've been conditioned to dismiss imagination as mere daydreaming or wishful thinking, something separate from reality. Neville teaches us that nothing could be further from the truth. Your imagination is the very substance from which reality is formed. It is not an escape from reality. It is the means by which reality is created. Consider a master architect. Before a single stone is laid, the building exists in completed form in the architect's imagination. This imaginal act precedes and gives birth to the physical structure. In the same way, your imaginal acts precede and give birth to the circumstances of your life. To implement this principle, develop the habit of conscious imagining each day, preferably morning and evening. Enter a relaxed state and create vivid, sensory-rich scenes that imply your financial abundance is already accomplished. Feel the reality of these scenes. Experience them as present facts, not future possibilities. As you persist in this practice, your subconscious mind accepts these imaginal acts as reality and works tirelessly to bring them into physical expression. If you're seeing this, it's because you're ready to embrace the third principle. The feeling is the secret. Many attempt to use visualization techniques as a form of mental bargaining, showing the universe what they want in exchange for receiving it. This misses the essential point. It is not the visualization itself that creates, but the feeling it generates. Imagine someone parched with thirst in a desert. They can visualize water all day long, but if they maintain the feeling of thirst, they remain aligned with lack. It is only when they can generate the feeling of satisfaction that comes after drinking, even before the physical water appears, that they align with the fulfillment of their desire. In the same way, it is not your mental picture of wealth that creates it, but your ability to feel wealthy now in the absence of physical evidence. This feeling, this emotional state, is the language your subconscious mind understands. It is the true prayer that is always answered. To implement this principle, focus less on the visual details of your imaginal scenes and more on the feeling they generate. Ask yourself, how would I feel if I were already financially abundant? Then cultivate that feeling throughout your day, regardless of appearances. As you make this feeling your habitual emotional state, you align your entire being with wealth, and your outer world must reshape itself to match. If you're seeing this, it's because you're ready to apply the fourth principle. What you assume is true will harden into fact. Your assumptions, often unconscious, form the foundation of your reality. When you assume something to be true, your mind immediately goes to work finding evidence to support that assumption and ignoring anything that contradicts it. This is how your assumptions become your experience. Think of your mind as a garden. Every assumption is a seed. Plant assumptions of lack, limitation, and struggle, and these will grow into the circumstances of your life. Plant assumptions of abundance, opportunity, and ease, and these become your reality instead. Most people allow their assumptions to form reactively based on past experiences or current appearances. Conscious creation begins when you deliberately choose your assumptions regardless of what seems to be real in the moment. To implement this principle, become vigilant about what you are assuming. Notice when you slip into assumptions of financial limitation, then consciously choose a new assumption that aligns with abundance. For example, replace "I can never get ahead financially" with "money comes to me easily and frequently from multiple sources." State your new assumption with conviction. Feel its truth. Live from it as if it were already accomplished. As you persist in this practice, your new assumption will solidify into fact in your experience. If you're seeing this, it's because you're ready to master the fifth principle. Your outer world is just the shadow of your inner conversations. The dialogue you maintain with yourself about money shapes your financial reality more powerfully than any external action you might take. These inner conversations, often running below the level of conscious awareness, are constantly affirming either abundance or lack. Imagine your mind as a broadcasting station, continuously transmitting signals that the universe receives and reflects back to you. If your inner dialogue is filled with worry about bills, fear of lack, or resentment toward those who have more, these are the signals you're broadcasting, and these will be reflected back as your experience. To implement this principle, become aware of your habitual inner conversations about money. Notice the phrases you repeat to yourself or others. Then consciously craft new conversations that affirm your wealth. Speak to yourself as you would if financial abundance were already your reality. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about choosing which aspect of yourself you identify with, the limited human personality bound by current circumstances, or the divine creative consciousness to whom all things are possible. As you maintain these new inner conversations, your subconscious mind accepts them as instructions and manifests corresponding conditions in your life. If you're seeing this, it's because you're ready to understand the sixth principle: the state of sleep is the portal to transformation. Neville placed special emphasis on the moments before sleep as uniquely powerful for impressing new states of consciousness upon the subconscious mind. In the drowsy state between wakefulness and sleep, the conscious analytical mind relaxes its guard, allowing direct access to the subconscious. Think of your subconscious mind as a fertile field, and your conscious thoughts as seeds. During the day, the field is hard-packed from constant traffic, making it difficult for new seeds to take root. But in the moments before sleep, the soil is loose and receptive, providing the perfect conditions for planting. To implement this principle, create a nightly practice of revisiting your imaginal scene of financial abundance just before falling asleep. Feel the reality of wealth as you drift into slumber. Let this be the final impression on your consciousness each day. As you make this a consistent practice, you'll find that your entire being, conscious and subconscious, aligns with the state of wealth, making its manifestation in your physical reality inevitable. As we prepare to move into the third and final part of our journey together, I invite you to consider that the transformation of your financial reality is not a distant goal requiring years of struggle and effort. It is available to you now through the conscious direction of your most precious gift, your own awareness. The techniques I've shared with you in this section are not theoretical abstractions. They are practical tools that have been proven effective by countless individuals who have applied them with understanding and persistence. Sarah's story could easily become your story, with details unique to your own journey. In the final section, we'll explore the most advanced aspects of Neville's teachings, how to maintain your new state of consciousness in the face of contrary evidence, how to accelerate the manifestation of your desires through the art of revision, how to transcend the manifestation of specific conditions to embrace the ultimate truth that you are the creator of your entire experience. Are you ready to complete your transformation? Turn your attention to part 3, where your mastery of these principles will be sealed. What if I told you that everything you've learned thus far, as powerful as it is, represents merely the threshold of what's possible for you? That we've only just begun to unveil the true magnitude of your creative power. The principles and techniques you've discovered are not simply strategies for manifesting wealth. They are revelations of your divine nature. They are glimpses into the infinite being that you truly are. And when fully embodied, they transform not just your financial reality, but the very fabric of your existence. Right now, in this moment, the seeds of your transformation are already germinating. The new state of consciousness you've begun to cultivate is already rearranging the elements of your life in ways your logical mind cannot yet comprehend. The universe, which is nothing more than the outer picture of your inner state, is already responding to the shift that has occurred within you. Listen carefully, for what I'm about to tell you contradicts everything the world has taught you about the nature of reality and your place within it. You are not the limited, struggling being you may have identified with in the past. That identity was an assumption, a mask you wore so convincingly that you forgot it was not your true face. Beneath that mask lies a being of unlimited creative power, the very power that births worlds into existence. Neville Goddard understood this profound truth when he wrote, "The world is yourself pushed out. Everything you experience, every circumstance, every relationship, every penny in your bank account is the projection of your own consciousness. There is no power outside of you creating your reality. There is only the power within you." This understanding liberates you from the tyranny of circumstance. No matter what your financial situation appears to be in this moment, it holds no power over your future experience. It is merely the shadow of past assumptions, and shadows cannot exist in the presence of new light. The abundance you seek is not something distant that must be achieved through struggle and effort. It exists now in its completed form within your consciousness. Your task is not to create it, but to claim it, to align your entire being with its reality until it has no choice but to express itself in your physical experience. Can you feel the profound shift that is occurring within you, even as you hear these words? Can you sense the old limitations dissolving, the new possibilities emerging? This is not wishful thinking. This is the actual transformation of your consciousness happening in real time. Many will tell you that financial transformation requires years of strategic planning and disciplined execution. They will outline complex systems and detailed roadmaps. And while these outer actions have their place, they are secondary to the inner transformation we're discussing here. When your consciousness is aligned with abundance, the right actions flow naturally. You don't need elaborate strategies when you're operating from the consciousness of wealth. The opportunities, the insights, the perfect timing, all emerge organically from your new state of being. This is where Neville's teaching transcends every other approach to wealth creation. He understood that outer effort without inner alignment is like trying to push a boulder uphill, a constant struggle against resistance. But when inner alignment precedes outer action, it's like placing that same boulder at the top of the hill and simply removing what blocks its natural momentum. Now here's the unexpected truth that separates this teaching from typical motivational content. Your desire for financial abundance is not actually about money at all. The money itself, the numbers in your bank account, the material possessions, the lifestyle, these are merely symbols. What you truly desire is the feeling that financial abundance would give you. The feeling of freedom, the feeling of security, the feeling of unlimited creative expression, the feeling of generosity, the feeling of having moved beyond struggle into grace. And here's the liberating secret. You can claim that feeling now. You don't need to wait for outer circumstances to arrange themselves in a particular pattern. You can step into the consciousness of these feelings in this very moment. And as you do, you set in motion the forces that will inevitably manifest their outer equivalents. This is not positive thinking or emotional manipulation. This is aligning yourself with the fundamental law of consciousness. Your outer world must conform to your inner state. It has no choice. It is not merely influenced by your consciousness. It is created by it. Pause for a moment and really let this sink in. Your financial reality is not happening to you. It is happening from you. And this means you hold the power to transform it completely through the conscious direction of your own awareness. As this understanding deepens within you, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts in your perception. Financial opportunities that were always present, but previously invisible to you, will suddenly become apparent. Resources that seemed beyond your reach will find their way to you through unexpected channels. People who can assist in your financial transformation will be drawn into your experience as if by magnetic force. These initial manifestations are not the fulfillment of your desire. They are the bridge of incidents, the natural unfolding of events that lead to the complete expression of your new state of consciousness. Recognize them as confirmation of your inner work, but don't become attached to them or mistake them for the finished creation. The complete manifestation of your financial abundance is assured not because you've earned it or because you've applied certain techniques correctly, but because it is the inevitable expression of your new state of being. The outer must always conform to the inner. This is law. What would change for you if you knew with absolute certainty that your financial abundance was already accomplished? If you could see beyond the limited perspective of linear time into the dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously, and you could witness your desire already fulfilled. This is the perspective from which masters like Neville operated. They understood that what we perceive as becoming in this three-dimensional reality is actually the gradual unfolding in time of what already exists in its completed form in consciousness. Your task is not to make your desire happen. Your task is to enter the state where it is already accomplished, and to maintain that state until its outer expression becomes visible to your physical senses. Let me share with you a daily practice that will help you maintain this new state of consciousness until it becomes your predominant reality. Each morning upon awakening and each evening before sleep, close your eyes and inwardly declare with absolute conviction, "I am the abundance I seek. Wealth flows to me continuously from expected and unexpected sources. I move through life with the quiet confidence of one who knows that all needs are met with ease and grace. My consciousness of abundance manifests as the perfect outer expression of financial freedom. What I am experiencing now is the natural result of who I know myself to be. I am abundance embodied." Feel the truth of these words as you speak them inwardly. Feel them not as affirmations about a future state, but as acknowledgments of your present reality. Feel the absolute naturalness of abundance as your state of being. Throughout your day, whenever you find yourself slipping back into old patterns of lack-based thinking, gently return to this declaration. Return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remember that what you're experiencing externally in this moment is not your current creation, but the shadow of past states of consciousness. Your present state of consciousness is creating your future. And as you maintain the consciousness of abundance, that future must conform to it. This is not wishful thinking. This is the operation of immutable law. Now let me address something that many teachers of manifestation overlook. There may be times when, despite your best efforts, you find yourself overwhelmed by appearances. Times when the outer picture seems so contradictory to your inner ideal that maintaining your new state feels impossible. This is where Neville's technique of revision becomes invaluable. At the end of each day, revisit any experiences that contradicted your ideal state of financial abundance. In your imagination, revise these experiences so that they align with your desire. Did you receive an unexpected bill? Revise it to an unexpected check in an even larger amount. Did you experience a business setback? Revise it to an unexpected opportunity. Did you engage in conversation that reinforced lack consciousness? Revise it to an empowering exchange about the abundance flowing into your life. This is not denial or fantasy. This is the conscious exercise of your creative power to reinterpret events in a way that aligns with your chosen state. And as you persist in this practice, you'll find that the outer events themselves begin to conform to your revised inner version. The consciousness of lack cannot exist in the presence of the consciousness of abundance. They are mutually exclusive states. By consciously choosing and maintaining the latter, you systematically dissolve the former until it no longer has any expression in your life. Remember that your current financial situation, whatever it may be, is nothing more than the manifestation of your previously held states of consciousness. It has no power to create your future experience unless you grant it that power by continuing to identify with it. Your true identity is not defined by current appearances. You are the awareness in which all states exist, and you have the freedom to occupy any state you choose. Choose now to occupy the state of financial abundance with such conviction that all other states dissolve in its presence. As you deepen into this understanding, you'll begin to transcend the manifestation of specific conditions and embrace the ultimate truth. You are the creator of your entire experience. The outer world in all its aspects is nothing more than you pushed out the perfect reflection of the states of consciousness you occupy. This truth applies not only to your financial reality, but to every dimension of your experience. As you master the conscious creation of wealth, You simultaneously develop the ability to consciously create in all areas of your life. This is the gift that financial mastery offers. It becomes the doorway to complete creative freedom. From this perspective, the pursuit of wealth becomes something far more significant than the accumulation of money or possessions. It becomes the reclamation of your divine creative power, the fulfillment of your purpose as a conscious creator in this vast universe. This is your birthright. This is your destiny. This is the truth of who you are. Let these words be both a blessing and a call to action. May you reclaim your power as the conscious creator of your reality. May you step fully into the magnitude of who you truly are. May the abundance that is your divine inheritance flow through you in ever-increasing measure, blessing not only your life but the lives of all you touch. And may you remember, in every moment and circumstance, that you are not merely seeking abundance. You are abundance itself, expressing in human form. The journey you've begun is not toward something outside yourself, but toward the full realization of what has been within you all along. The choice is yours. The power is yours. The abundance is yours. Claim it now and watch as your world transforms to reflect the truth of who you really are.